First topic, we like to keep things relatively light, nothing too intricate or anything too devastating to break down. Obviously, this was from about a month ago or so back, but um, at the beginning of the summer, everyone, not everyone, but there's so much excitement in the air because all the graduations happening, all the graduation celebrations. Everyone's hyped because a lot of young people's, and all people's hard work has finally paid off. I'm sure we've all been to a graduation party or celebration this year, one or two ourselves. And yeah, you know, we obviously remember when we were coming out of school, the feeling that we were feeling, the excitement was in the air. But we're in a different day and age, and some people are. I feel as if one of the elements that's impacted all areas of life is the virality and the showmanship of certain things. Although one can make the case that someone here did a very viral moment, and if we had social media as popping as it was back in the day, that would have been all over TikTok and hot cough ace. Um, but I don't think any of us would ever do something quite this. I don't know what the right word. I don't want to call it blatantly stupid, but so much disregard. So, salute to the Feared Bucked, whatchamacallit, account. They posted UCLA graduate celebrates by showing off the ChatGPT he used for his final project right before officially graduating. So let's just watch it. Although, can you turn down that volume a bit, Ace? Because like almost damn near all the way down. Because I think they use like a song and I get copyrighted off the first thing.
Mm.
ChatGPT. Also, obviously, apologies for the choppiness of the video and the quality. We super apologize and appreciate the viewership all the same. But just to recap, it was just a brother showing off his laptop and showing and scrolling through his final projects, and when he was going through some of the tabs he had up, one of them was the Chat GPT page right up. So you know, again, you want to go out with the bang. You want to do something that's gonna get you. People are gonna remember for all ages, and I guess a part of his exit was showcasing that he's his final project. I wonder what major he was. Maybe I should do some more research. But all the same, the simple question that arises out of this, obviously, who amongst us doesn't use AI tools in our day to day to for efficiency to get certain questions to just address real quick. Although I have my gripes when you ask AI tools certain questions, they don't be knowing shit. Um, Sorry, they don't be doing anything. Um, uh, I think in some spaces they make the case that there's a certain level of what you call it, like honor you're supposed to uphold codes. I don't know if schools have finally started to change up their policies, but there are some schools where you can't use AI tools to do your tests and assignments and projects like this. Dang, would we have used AI for some of our projects back in the day, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Hmm.
it depends on
Anyway,
how you use it. It depends on how you.
I mean, at this point in the day, I feel like it feels if you could just punch in, "Hey, I have a final project due on the thesis of uh, colonization. Can you just drop me up a whole paper, please?" Anyway, the question is simply becomes if someone is so blatant and red-handed about their use of ChatGPT or AI tools regarding their tests or final projects or major projects, should schools start revoking their degrees, diplomas, so on and so forth? I'll start with you, Wes. What do you think? You think this is all cool and just a nice little laugh right off, or do you think actually school should look into, oh, so you want to broadcast using these tools and start yoinking degrees?
I think that the time that we're in is complicated because it's a transitionary period where people are starting to use these tools, which just came into popularity a couple years ago. So, like, most of these kids have gone through at least their elementary, middle, and part of high school, a lot of them, without access to these things. And so that means that generally they got a similar high school education and or at least elementary school, middle school, as we did, which means that they had to do stuff, quote unquote, the hard way, which means that they had to do a lot of repetition
I don't know about the
in order to learn
hard
stuff
way.
like. I mean, so I've talked about this at length with other people and stuff, but like there's certain things that you just have to do a lot of, like math. You just have to do a lot of times tables to get the intuition where okay, I know these times tables like the back of my hand, and I can incorporate them in what I'm doing later. And or even writing certain skills that you have, you might understand the concept immediately, but if you don't do it a lot, you're not going to be a good student or you're not going to be able to succeed because you can't apply them quickly. And if it takes you too long to apply the concepts, you're not going to be able to get deeper into the thing as quickly as you need to. So those people, if they decide to use ChatGPT now, they're going to lose out on a lot of practice that we had by nature of how you just had to do things. And so I think there needs to be controls so that that doesn't happen. So that the things that you have to do a lot of exercises in, uh, that you don't lose that practice. But on the other hand, if you already have that practice and you're kind of smart about how you learn, I don't. I think I've heard of professors being like, "Well, you can use ChatGPT, but if it sucks, I'm still going to give you a bad grade." And I think that is a reasonable approach because, well, it was and maybe still kind of is a reasonable approach because the stuff that it puts out, the stuff that ChatGPT puts out, is not the best. Like even in terms of papers and stuff like that. Problem is, it could potentially get better,
It
and at
will.
that point, you're not necessarily evaluating the student, and that becomes a problem. But if the quality is what it is or was maybe a year ago, now that because I can't necessarily value it, I haven't given it a huge text to write recently, but um, if it was like that and you had to go back through and edit it yourself, you are still evaluating the student's ability to at least read and revise and deal out something that has some quality to it, which I think I think that's a fair way to treat the thing. If you use ChatGPT, if you use AI, and it's not good, then that's on you. But again, until the point where perhaps it gets too good, where okay, it can use even the student's tone and it sounds fairly reasonable and it seems like it's been gone through, or you put it through multiple levels of revision or AI revision. Yeah, it could be kind of it could get to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. I think being in the transitionary period, I think if the teachers aren't picking up on it now or the past couple years,
Oh,
that
some
means they're
professors
not.
are.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and if they weren't and they're passing you, that's kind of on them. And but as I said, if it gets better, I think they should be a little bit more or scrutinized more. I think there should be more handwritten uh, projects when it comes to writing. Like I had a class where we just had essays to write. Every assignment was just an essay that you handwrite in class, and like that, this all gets kind of weeded out. But
That's
you can't
some
really do a research
that's
project
some
that way.
junior high stuff. No professor or teacher is making their students write in their handwrite in this day and age.
I think it's not a bad idea. I enjoyed that course, but it's only certain subjects uh, are more amenable to something like that, and certain subjects aren't. You can't just do that with everything. But it can be an option if you want to really evaluate the person's understanding. You sit them down in a block and say, "All right, you're gonna write." I mean, even if you said you can do it on a word processor, you can do it on Word or whatever. You have a computer, you can type it, but you can't use AI tools or you can't use the internet or whatever. Um, I think that's reasonable in this period. But as far as revoking diplomas, as you mentioned before, uh, it seems a bit extreme because, like I said, the filter should be with the professors uh, and how they run their class, not necessarily that okay, he got the diploma, but now you're gonna go back and say no, you could. It's a problem because what? Like,
Because some people see that's cheating. What do you mean because of what?
I mean, yes, yes, but I feel like the filter should be at the professor level. Like in the class in which you used it, they should be catching that. If you got by, I feel like it's kind of a foregone thing. Like, uh, but I don't know. I guess I can see both sides because it is in a way like plagiarism, whatever. And I think you would get normally you would get either a degree or
School is terrible. Don't like that
a,
plagiarism stuff. They'll
yeah.
threaten to
They
kick you out.
considered it to, yeah. So I can see why, but like I said, they should be catching it in the class. I don't know.
Fair enough. You're basically saying this is not a federal problem. This is a state problem, state level problem. What about yourself, Ghost, as it pertains to using AI tools, AI assistants for some of these important level finals and final projects? Do you think if students get caught right-handed, blatantly, no question about it, that schools might can start looking into doing some degree revoking or diploma revoking, or do you think all is fair and love in school?
Um, I think for the most part, I'm with Wes's take on the vetting process needing to be done at a professor level. And if the professor didn't fail the student, if I don't want to say if he didn't catch him, but if the professor determined that the student's quality of work was above the standard that is needed to graduate, then I think I'm tentatively okay with this. However, for one, I'll say that this is pretty fucking stupid for this kid to do this. It's just like even if nothing happens, you're just begging for some type of repercussion. But I mean, there is in this specific case, I mean, there's recourse in that the kid could say that he didn't actually use it; it was just for jokes and just because he had it, he
Oh,
has
it
the
was a prank, bro. That is
yeah,
the school
exactly.
excuse.
Just because the images were there doesn't mean he actually did it. He was just trying to be funny. So I don't think that like failing based off a situation like this, where he's just trying to be funny, even if there is truth in him using ChatGPT, I don't think he should be automatically have his degree revoked for this. I do think there's are heading down a slippery slope where if you're graduating and you let ChatGPT do everything, or if it's not up to that capability yet, if it gets to the point where ChatGPT can do all your work for you and it's indistinguishable by a professor, and you're not learning anything, I think that's I think that's a problem because I've been on record like I'm not a condone I don't condone college. I've cheated before in college. Like I'm not saying I'm above
They're
any
about to
of
take away
this.
your degree.
It's too late now. But I'm not above any of this. I probably wouldn't have used ChatGPT when I was in the school, but that's just my general distrust of AI. But there needs to be some level of like knowledge, like at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. Your degree is not completely false. That's what it should really boil down to. And if ChatGPT is doing literally everything for you, if I was an employer and I'm looking to hire someone fresh out of school and I see this image right here, bro, I'm not hiring you because even if it's just a joke, even if it's just for laughs, I don't know if you actually know what you're doing or not. This could be a situation where ChatGPT did everything and get hired for the company, you don't know jack squat. And there already is an element of that when you're a fresh hire and a lot of your learning comes on the job. College does not teach you, in many cases, a quarter of what you need to know to succeed in the workplace. But there are still some valuable takeaways that you can get from you see someone with a degree and say, okay, they have at least some baseline knowledge of whatever they're being hired for. And there's a lot of doubt that can be installed when you see something like this, when you see ChatGPT doing everything for a student. And I know for a fact, like, this might be hypocritical as an engineer, but if I see like a doctor or some shit saying they use ChatGPT to graduate medical school, bro, I'm get the degree revoked, bro, because I try to have them operating on someone. I ain't trying to have them diagnosing someone when they don't know what they're talking about whatsoever.
But
And
what about if they're already in the position as a doctor? Like you go into the office and you see it on the screen on their computer.
it depends. Is it based off of like, oh, they were doing I can't remember what they call the medical training specifically, but residency or whatever they call it. If they have experience, if they had knowledge, if they've gained
I'm
that.
talking about your doctor.
Oh, you're talking about my specific doctor, and I see
Yeah.
that. If this guy was my doctor, bro,
Yeah, definitely
I'm.
somebody's
No,
future doctor or future something.
no,
If I don't know
not even
anything,
that. Not even that. Not that you see a video of him in school doing this, but you see him now. Like you go into his office and you see on his computer screen, ChatGPT is up.
if it's not okay, if it's saying like ChatGPT, the patient has X, Y, and Z symptoms. What is this? Nah. I'm not really changing my doctor. I'm calling some type of higher authority on you. That's where it's like, nah, that's a huge problem. But I mean,
I
I'm
think
not
this
gonna
this has
immediately.
happened, by the way. I think there was a
Oh
picture
my
floating
god.
around on the internet. I mean, I don't know how true it was, but this was the
Yo,
case.
I'm suing the shit out of whatever hospital, whatever doctor that is, bro. Because you're not gonna get me diagnosed. I could do this myself. I could literally go on ChatGPT myself and look it up. Nah. I guess what it really boils down to is does this person know what they're talking about without relying on ChatGPT or AI as a crutch? If the answer is no, then revoke that degree. If the answer is yes, then I'm willing to let it slide, but it's kind of hard to know just off the rip. So I'm my baseline's going to be kind of already suspicious in a situation like this, or maybe leaning towards the degree revoke side, just because we don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you bring up
It's
an
strange.
interesting point, or
No, go ahead.
start to go into an interesting direction of I don't know what like the scrutiny that employers do in this day and age, or like how far a person's digital footprint can go inside the workforce space can go. But imagine your employer, your potential future employer, just bump into a video of you doing this stuff. Depending on the company, they're like, "This do we want this knucklehead in our company? He's gonna chat GPT everything." Um. Oh yeah, but and last but not least, what about you, Ace? Do you have any hot takes regarding this? Do you think students, if they're caught red-handed using AI tools for finals and final projects and important assignments. You think schools should start considering pulling back some of those degrees?
Yes. I mean, in this case in particular, like the goofiness of showing it at your graduation, I just want. I would like to see the justice where they
What do you
just
mean?
maybe they
He's
don't
hype.
fully revoke.
He's caught up
Nah,
in the
nah,
moment.
nah. You're being dumb. Like you're being dumb. You're showing it off to the school. They should take it. They should take the degree and maybe do like a probationary thing, where it's all right. We're gonna put all your papers now. They're under a review. Review. We got the whole academic department has to look at it, not just the one teacher. And I'm assuming. I mean, of course, they wouldn't be able to tell him like, show us your laptop so we could actually see what you were showing on the thing. But but yeah, I don't like this. I don't like the way it looks. I don't think I have much of a problem with people using ChatGPT to help in school per se either. Like I do think they're shortchanging themselves in some ways, but I think it can be used in a way that still allows you to learn, but enhances that learning as opposed to just completely being reliant on it. Yeah, if you're gonna show it like this, it's like it's different. It's a different issue than just you use Chat GPT. You're like rubbing it in their faces. It's disrespectful. That's what it comes down to for me, more than anything else.
Jeez, don't let Ace be all dean of students. He's no nonsense about that AI stuff. Fair enough. Yeah, I think the moral of the story here does kind of boil down to and kind of delving into the points where some of y'all are mentioning of just like obviously these tools are here and they're here to stay. Um, so obviously organizations and schools are gonna have to be conscious, and they are being conscious of the fact that these tools are being used. Um, and it's kind of hard when some people are kind of just in the midst of it and they just want to get out of it. But like it was mentioned, there is a lot of value to doing things in a more not even archaic, just a manner that's going to be more you're going to be more receptive to actually retaining and just kind of building your experience and skill base, i.e. doing some things, going into books, doing like good old fashioned research, writing for yourself. Like those skills, if you do hone in on them, take you a long way. Again, it's kind of hard to translate that to a young person that are really just in the midst of it, trying to get out and get on to the next journey of their life. But again, they definitely those things definitely hold value.
Quick survey of
Go
the
ahead.
engineering profession. How many of y'all, or what percentage do y'all think in your places, in your workplaces, of people be on ChatGPT? It's like I've seen it firsthand. Like I walk by somebody's screen, see the tab up, like
In the workplace
in
or
the
in
office, in your workplace, like in
mm,
your in your
well,
like department, not necessarily HR and stuff, but like in engineering.
my work situation's a little unique in that. Well, back when I had another coworker who was in the engineering department, as I said, coworker one, uh, he used it a lot, but he used it for like writing purposes. Because to be frank, his grammar was atrocious. So he used that for like letters, reports, emails, which
Emails,
is
yeah.
like that's fine. As far as actual design specifications, I think he might have used it a few times to like look through regulations and highlight key points. But that's one of the things where I don't trust that. I don't trust ChatGPT to catch everything that I need to catch. So that's where I would get a little shaky in relying on it. But for day to day tasks, simple things, I don't think there's a problem with it in the workplace.
Yeah.
Similar.
So
Um,
100% for you.
similar. Interestingly enough, not in a particular position that I am in now, but I have seen it, and I've noticed that it's definitely younger folks, like around my age or younger, that's more inclined to use the tools for not just emails, but for actually engineering documentation as well. Um, but when I'm working on programs or positions with predominantly like older folks, they're not with that stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would say pretty much 100% of my team, and I would be surprised if most other people not on my team don't use it as well. Um, I mean, my
Don't use it.
manager, yeah, yeah, they
Hmm.
all use it.
Oh, okay.
Manager,
Yeah, you.
a former manager, yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody uses it. Um, I think where I work skews younger, so that probably contributes as well.
Huh,
Yeah.
you don't use. No, never mind. Um. Yeah. No. No. I mean, I think it's up there too. Like 80% maybe. I've seen it. Heard people talking about it. Like I said, and yeah. I mean, and I think it just comes down to how you use the tool, really. Because like even what you said, Ghost, like if you're looking up specs and regulations and stuff like this, ChatGPT will literally make up a spec, like make up a
Yes.
section and write it out
Yep.
and act like it exists.
Yep.
But if you have access to the documentation, what I normally do is I'll ask for the source and go try to find it. And a lot of times they'll give you links that don't exist. So
But
you're
you'll
right.
have
Like
to. Sorry, this is kind of a tangential thing, but like at that point, what's even the use? Because you have. Wouldn't you feel the need to check the source for every single item it gives you
no, it's
not to go
literally
into
like
questions on?
no, exactly. So like if I say, can you point me to the relevant sections about this in this big document? It can be. I mean, it's not wrong. 100. Like it's wrong. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe like 30% of the links and stuff might be bull crap, but like the other ones, they're valid. And I'll go to the section and I'll get the information I need from the actual official link or
But
official
if
document.
you have to check every single one, my thing again, this is kind of tangential, not really relevant here. But like, if you have to
And
check every
yeah,
single
off
one, then why
point.
wouldn't you just?
No, but well, I'll give you an example. I have to deal with the difference between the international standards and U.S. standards because I'm used to the U.S. standards,
Yeah.
and I have to do the translation. So if I look something up, I say, what's the equivalent standard, or where do I need to look to get this standard in international standard?
Okay. Okay.
And if it gives me something, I at least have something to grab
All
onto
right.
because I
I
don't know
see.
exactly what to search. I might even be looking in French and not in English. Like there's a lot to filter through that it can more quickly get me somewhere in the zone of where I need to be, as opposed to me just trying to figure it out
Yeah,
in my
that
own.
makes sense.
Yeah, Ghost. It's the same with like any codes that you're not familiar with and you don't necessarily want to go digging through page by page to try to find what you're looking for. I mean, I guess you could use the chapter, I mean, the contents too, but sometimes it can just be easier to say, where is X in this code? Or, give me a summary of this section or whatever. And then, get the, and make sure you have the, actual reference like that you can pull up. But,
I don't know. That's kind of the exact situation that I wouldn't want to use it in because I can ask for a summary, but if it gives me an item that it says it's there, but it actually isn't, how do I know that it's not missing something that's there and just forgetting to summarize it?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
I shouldn't have necessarily brought up a summary, um, but yeah, definitely for searching for specific locations of information, it can certainly be helpful.
All right, all right. That's enough. Engineering deep dives. It's supposed to be relatively light. Um, but I'll still open it up unless there's anything else we can move on to the next topic.